So we'll start with a little story.
You're going to tell all my secrets?
Just 3/4 of them. Some of them we can't.
Chapter 1.
Oh, jeez.
A fairy tale story. Once upon a time, in the land of Perth Amboy, there lived a family with a very special girl. Now, this special girl's name was Natalie. She always dreamed of marrying someone strong, sweet, and hairy.
Not that, didn't she?
Her sister Essie lived in Baltimore. With her husband Jerry, he had friends galore. Essie asked Nat to move in one day. Moving out of Jersey was a great idea. Hooray.
Did you get a good picture?
Sleeping on the sofa
Not so
was
much.
nightly routine. With curlers in her hair, she was not a beauty queen. The front door opened with Jerry's friends coming inside. Poor little Natalie screamed. There was nowhere to hide. Rudy saw Natalie, and there were stars in his eyes. A couple months later, she was his bride. Now, that's not the end of the story. Chapter 2. Life is good. Life was bliss in Nat and Rube's land, so happy and carefree. Then came the babies, Emily, Marcy, and Bobby.
Your type of writer.
Each with their own unique personalities. Then came the dogs. Funny story. One day while Rube was driving in his car, he heard on the radio that a free dog and cage were being offered to the audience. All you needed was to do was call Mohawk 467. Funny, that name sounded familiar. It should. It was his number. By the time he got home, the dog and cage were gone. The only thing Nat said was, the dog's thing was always big, and it made me so very uncomfortable. It's true. Then came the boats. Of course, they started small with a 16-foot. That wasn't enough. Traded in for Hope, a 22-foot. Then Baby, a 36, up to Baby 2, a 42. Then down to a 22. The love of water brought them to Pasadena and a house on the water. This was a place where our family would get together, swim, fish, and enjoy the beautiful sunsets. But that wasn't enough. They needed to be around their friends, so they picked up and moved to Annapolis. There they are. Life was grand. And speaking of grand, the grandchildren just kept coming. There they are. If you can stand up while we read this. Dr. Aaron. Yay. Jessica. Yay. Lauren. Allison. Ricky.
Ricky's not here.
Ricky's not here. But we'll clap it.
Clapping like
Oh.
We're not clapping.
Evan?
He's not here.
Ethan. Melissa. Pierce. And our newest addition is Dr. Julie. Yay, she's not here. Again, each has so much to offer with their unique personalities, and we are all so very proud of each and every one. Now, one of the special gifts Natalie has is storytelling. All the grandkids will agree that Grammy knows so many stories. What they finally realized as they got older was that Grammy was making up the stories as she went along.
Chapter 3, A Place to Call Home. We didn't have to explain why Natalie and Rube moved back to Baltimore, but we can tell you that they did receive discounts from movers because every year, the next 5 years, they changed their address. From Barron's Road to the Excalibur, to Avalon, back to the Excalibur, and finally to Pomona. I guess you have to call them just the Wandering Jews. Chapter 4. I'm fine.
That's what I always said.
As my mom says, she has so many chapters in her life. Most were wonderful, some were very sad, but her best friend, the mirror, tell that person looking back at her that you are strong, you can do it, and everything's fine.
Listen to me.
Right.
Nobody else listening.
Epilogue. Natalie is fine. Rather, Natalie is the greatest, and that is why we all are here with her, with her today to celebrate her birthday. Just remember, you don't have to count the years you have lived to have a happy birthday. Rather, it's what you've done in those years that count. Mom, Grammy, Natalie, Nat, happy birthday, and many, many more. We love you, and if we can quote you, we know what you would say. Love you more.